When most Naruto fans hear the name Jashin, they immediately think about the psychopath Hidan. After all, he did scream out the name of Jashin every chance that he got. However, is there more to killing when it comes to the Way of Jashin? Surprisingly, in a sick and twistedly complex way, there are actual layers to the cult religion that is known as Jashin. That's why in today's video, I'm going to share with you all the information that is known about the cult of Jashin and explain why it's got more complexity to it than you would have ever imagined. The most obvious sign that there's more to the religion of Jashin than killing comes in the Naruto epilogue novel, Akatsuki Hidan, Evil Flowers in Full Bloom. In the chapter where Hidan and Kakuzu are the main focus, we get our first glimpse into the complexity of the Way of Jashin. Hidan refers to the message of Jashin as being a public service announcement and that Jashin wishes to save people from their fear of death. Death is something that we as humans are fascinated by. What comes after death? Does it hurt to die? Is dying scary? These are some of the most common questions that come when it comes to the topic of death. It's why in literature, one of the things we often see in quite a few cases is a hero being built up only for them to die in a heroic manner or give their lives for the greater purpose or the greater cause that they have been championing for. For Jashin, saving people from the fear of death means to take their life. However, killing isn't something that's done in random. If that were the case, everyone in the vicinity of a Jashin follower would be susceptible to death. The Way of Jashin selects its targets by looking at the follower's neighbor. Now, this isn't the neighbor in the literal sense of the word, like the person living next door. For Jashin, it's more than being in physical close proximity. This is why Hidan says that no matter how much Kakuzu gets on his nerves, Kakuzu can never be considered a neighbor in this fashion, despite the fact that the two are always being near to each other. It is implied that the best kill for a follower of Jashin is someone that shares a link between the two, between the person who is following Jashin and the person who's about to die. With that being said, one of the goals of Jashin is to create a world where mass murder is accepted, which is partly why Hidan joined the Akatsuki. For the cult of Jashin, honoring their god is more than just killing a target. After every death, a prolonged meditation period is mandatory and it must be followed. In fact, it is one of the huge rules that comes from following the practice of Jashin. It is why Hidan insists on doing so after every kill. In his mind, as well as the other members of his cult, they have just delivered another scared soul from their fear of death. It's ironic since Hidan takes on the appearance that was inspired by a death god. The black skin and bones is likely to strike fear into the hearts of those who he kills. It's almost as if to say, look into the eyes of what you fear most. In the Konoha Shinden novel, which focuses on Kakashi's trip out of the village after the events of chapter 700 of the Naruto manga, we learn that as Hokage, Kakashi once ordered an investigation into the Way of Jashin, but ultimately he found nothing and concluded that the Way of Jashin was simply something that Hidan created. However, it is Mirai Sarutobi, the daughter of Asuma, is the one who discovers the truth behind the cult of Jashin. The cult's new leader was rounding up young girls to massacre, and it's implied that he did so for the purpose of attaining the power that comes from the ritual that Hidan underwent. In a way, it makes a lot of sense. In ancient civilizations, the blood of young women was used as a sacrifice. Virgin blood was seen as something that was valuable, something that was pure, something that was ideal for sacrifice. Looking at the real-world inspiration for the Way of Jashin, this becomes even more likely the case. There once existed an Indian cult that committed murder in the name of the goddess that it followed, and they did so by handing out several ritual murders. At one point, this cult was responsible for over 2 million deaths. Even the symbol of Jashin has its roots in the real world, with the reverse pentagram usually being shown to symbolize evil and to attract evil forces. Jashin literally means wicked heart, which is fitting given the nature of its followers. However, diving back into the complexity of this religion, Hidan, before every fight, prays to Jashin for a good kill, and when he's unable to deliver another lost soul from the fear of death during their battle, Hidan prays for forgiveness. The sharing of pain is meant to show the person about to die that death isn't as bad as they believed it to be, and that fighting is useless, and that it's something that they must accept, something they must embrace, something that will help them move on to the greater good that awaits for them on the other side. It's why Hidan became so animated and so overly excited when he stabbed Asuma, stating that they would experience the ultimate pleasure together. Seeing one person undergo the same pain as you, in a way, it can be argued was meant to make the person dying feel a little less terrified at the prospect of dying, though I personally doubt anyone getting stabbed in their arteries are thinking that death isn't as bad as they once thought it was, and that the person who's killing them that is laughing is doing so because they're so excited for what's about to await them. Finally, it should be worth noting that the Way of Jashin still exists in the Boruto era, as early as chapter 700 of Naruto, where Boruto and Sarada were in the academy. Naruto sends Mirai Sarutobi on a mission with Guy and Kakashi to investigate the followers of Jashin and to put an end to their leader's ritual sacrifices. So, what did you guys think about the Way of Jashin? Would you be okay if a follower of Jashin showed up in the Boruto anime or in the Boruto manga? But as always, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, share. Don't forget to hit that bell to enable notifications. Thank you so much for watching to the end of the video, guys. Have an awesome day.